Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Say hi when you hop on. Let me know where you are tuning in from. We're going to get ready in just a minute. But I have a few breakouts going on. I was sick, like I mentioned yesterday. And so I'm just trying to get over that. But I did get in this fun little cardigan. It reminds me of the Show Me Your Moo cardigan. I love the little buttons, and you can layer it with a tank underneath or nothing if you just love to be like warm and cozy. Okay, we are gonna start, but before we start, I want to go ahead and moisturize. So I've been loving this Elemis Pro Collagen Marine Cream. This has SPF 30 in it. And when my face feels, I just wash my face, but when it feels dry, I feel like I just need something to keep me moisturized a little bit more than on days that I do feel hydrated. I always put a moisturizer on my skin in my skincare routine no matter what, because I just feel like it always helps. But you don't need to use a ton of this because it's very hydrating. It almost has like a water base where it will, you know, really soak in deep into the skin. It's very hydrating. It's probably one of the most hydrating creams I've ever used, just being honest. But it is a little bit more on the expensive side. But Ulta had it for 50% off this week for the 21 Days of Beauty. And so I believe it's normally upwards of $100, and I think it was on sale for like 49 or 50 bucks. So again, this is the Elemis. I love their skincare. I love good skincare. So anytime that I find something that really works, then I try to kind of stick with it. So for today, I am going to start out with this Illumi Lotion. I got this in a lighter shade because I am fair skinned when I'm not tan. This is in 903, and I love how this just gives you a glow, and you don't need a ton, but I love to kind of rub this in with my fingers just to give my skin a more hydrated look. I do have a scab right there. I know it looks like, what is that? It's not food. I have a scab from just acne, and you can definitely tell the Gloomy Lotion on my forehead area. I really love to blend this in throughout my entire skin. I know I sound a little bit nasally because, again, I've been sick and I'm trying to still get over it. I keep feeling like I'm like 1 inch like better each day, but I'm not 100%, just being honest, but we are getting there. Now I'm going to go in with this Maybelline Super Stay. This is a 24-hour skin tint, and I'm in shade 129. If you go to the description of this live, then you will see I have a link for all the makeup that I'm going to be using today. If you are interested in anything or you're looking for shade names, I will say the shade names also in the video, but if you are looking at this live after the live and you're watching the replay and you want to go back, I'll have shade names and everything over on my LTK. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. I really love this skin tint. I think that it is super pretty. I love how well it matches my skin and how easy it is to blend in. I don't feel like I'm even wearing any makeup. And some days I just want that makeup, no makeup look. If I'm not doing like a full glam, which most of the time when I do put on makeup, I do full glam. But even like when I go to the beach or even sometimes Disney and I know I'm gonna sweat a lot, then I love using this skin tint. I think that's really the key for a lot of people, is wanting to have your makeup kind of look or enhance your natural beauty and not wear a lot of makeup or not feel like you're wearing a lot of makeup. It's really the key. So I love when I feel like I'm not wearing a lot of makeup, but I love blendable coverage. Okay, so far that looks pretty good. I feel like it's kind of balanced out my skin. I always put skin tint and foundation over my eyelids as well. And then sometimes I'll go down on my neck area. So now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. Today I'm gonna be using the Unique concealer. This is in Velour. I don't have this linked on my LTK. I did used to work with Unique, but I genuinely love their products, and so I can also link it as well for you guys if you're interested. This concealer reminds me so much of Tarte Shape Tape concealer. I'm gonna see if I have it with me right here, one of the Tarte ones. So this is what the Tarte Shape Tape concealer looks like. It's a very similar coverage to the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm getting tongue-tied. It's really good. And I feel like this covers for more mature skin, especially if you have bags under your eyes or if you look really sleepy. Look at that coverage. Even the tiniest little bit covers really well. So if you are into a full coverage concealer, and to me, that's how I feel like if you're wearing a skin tint and you have a more full coverage concealer, you can still see your natural skin through this skin tint, which is not full coverage, but that concealer really does make a big difference. And so I always love to use this. I use this concealer on my Disney days a lot because of how great the coverage is and the fact that it stays on all day long. I do set it with powders. I feel like it goes on very creamy, but I feel like it has like the look of a matte concealer. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with my Huda Beauty. This is actually concealer instead of a contour. This is in shade Salted Caramel. And what I like to do is do 3 little dots on my cheek, 3 dots on the other side, and then I do love to highlight my forehead, just kind of map it out. And then I love a skinny nose. So I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose, kind of cross it right there, and then just like that. And then I'm going to take this Tarte brush and just going to blend that in. How is everyone's Thursday? Does anyone have any fun weekend plans? I know Labor Day was last weekend and everyone got to enjoy that Monday holiday, like a 4-day weekend, which I know everyone always loves. Most people, they take a vacation, go to the beach for their 4-day weekend, have a barbecue, spend time with their family and friends, go out on the boat. Okay. And then I'm also gonna blend that in. I love using a cream contour and a bronzer over it just because I think that it stays longer, and I love a bronzy look. I've always loved a bronzy look on me, especially because of my skin tone and just as an artist, makeup artist. I love the creativity of creating and doing my makeup. I wish I had a skinnier nose contour brush, and I've seen one from e.l.f. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it and got one yet, but my lips are super dry right now, and so I'm gonna go ahead and add this Laneige mask. This is in grapefruit. I really love how soft these masks are for your lips. It feels like a pillow. Okay. And when I'm not feeling sick, then I normally can skip it. I've really been kind of holding out for these moments, like the winter time and like a fall crisp morning. You definitely need one of these if you're starting to feel sick or your lips are cracked. I don't struggle with that, to be honest, normally. My lips are hydrated, but being sick can cause that. So now I'm gonna go in with the Dibs Spiced Chai. This is a 3-in-1, the Duet Baked Bronzer. And I really love these. I just got them in yesterday in a PR box, and I'm so grateful. I thought that these shades would do really well, and I'm using my Dibs brush. It's so cute. I love that it has a fluffier side and like a more defined side. Just using this on the cheek. I love this bronzer. It is so pretty on. And they only had, I believe, four shades, maybe 5 shades of different shade ranges for your skin, but I loved this one. This one's the one right before the darkest shade that they have. Maybe they'll come out with more, or maybe they're just testing to see how these shades do before they commit to more shades. But there we are, bronze. I'm gonna go in now with the, try to see which one I should use. I'm gonna go in with the Benefit Professional Power Powder, and I'm just going to set underneath my eyes. This is actually a matte and loose setting powder, which I love because if you have large pores, this is gonna go really well to hide that. And there's only one shade of this in it. I grabbed it, but it reminds me of the like banana bread that I use from Huda Beauty. I ran out of it, or otherwise that would be what I would be using underneath my eyes. But I love to kind of hide my pores, make them as minimal as possible. I love using a brush to put this in it's smaller, but it's a fluffier brush. And I have to say, I went out on a limb and got these Morphe Ariel brushes. And he has a face and an eye set of these brushes, even a sponge. And I have to say, these are the best brushes I've ever used. And I wanted to get some more, and I had FOMO last year around their 21 Days of Beauty, and I was like, okay, these brushes are good. The first set that I ended up getting, I believe was for Christmas the year prior or the year before that. And I saw them for 21 Days of Beauty, and I was like, I'm gonna have FOMO if I don't buy another set of the eyes and face brushes, because these are so good. A lot of times with brushes, even if you think they're good, after like a year or a few washes with them, like the handle breaks or the bristles from the brush, they become stuck to you on your face. And I just, for the price of how expensive that brushes can be, they should last. And honestly, I will have to give a disclaimer, because so for example, this brush, these are the first set of brushes that I had. It's broken, but they're still intact and I can still use that. So I'm not really worried about the bottom. I'm not very hard on them, but I travel a lot and I throw all my brushes in like a Ziploc bag when I travel, because I don't like to mix my brushes in with my makeup, because my makeup case is completely full, and so I just throw them in there. So that's probably one of the reasons why the wear and tear on it, but it's not because of the quality of the brush. And now I'm gonna go in and do my brows. I always use Anastasia Beverly Hills Pomade for brows. I get shade Soft Brown. It's one of the prettiest shades, to be honest, that I have personally ever used. I have dark brows, and I believe the first time that I ended up purchasing this, I got a darker or medium, and I hated it. So I'm just gonna get a little closer so that I can fill in my brow. One thing about filling in brows that I've learned is that you have to have a lighter hand when kind of shaping your brows. I like to just follow along my natural brow line, to be honest, and fill in like any sparse lines. I love to still have a full but natural looking brow. I'm gonna brush my brows up. And then I want to take this and clean it up underneath. And you can also do that with concealer as well. If you are someone who makes a mess, you can put concealer, you know, right there to clean it up. And I would say I would use a more natural looking, closer to your foundation shade concealer if you are gonna do that. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this as well on the top of my brow. Just going to brush my brows upwards. And again, you can clean your brows up, but I will just say I personally think it's much easier to add more product than it is to take away. So that's why I mentioned a lighter hand is always best in my opinion. And I know that thick bushy brows are not for everyone. And I always think it's so funny how, you know, back in the day, most of us probably tweezed our brow so much. We had maybe 1 or 2 hairs on our brows, and that is just crazy looking back now. I feel like if you have like a more narrow, slimmer face, you could totally pull it off, but people are now getting microblading and all of that to make their brows stand out. Now I'm going in with this blush. This is in VIP Pink, and I'm going to use the same Dibs brush, the fluffier side. And I love a blushy cheek. You guys, if you've watched any of my lives, you already know that I'm a blush and bronzer queen when it comes to, I really go all out with the blush and bronzer. I think I have something that's like tickling my nose. And you can just do it to your liking. If you want a more natural look, you know, obviously you don't need that much product, but if you love a really blushy look, you can add as much as you want. I feel like blush, no matter what brand I've used, it's always like the first thing that I kind of lose sight of when I'm doing my makeup. By the end of this live, I feel like my blush will be completely gone. Now I'm going in with my eyeshadow. One of the best palettes I've ever purchased is the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette. I use a couple of shades in this palette, and I'm trying to use more. I'm gonna go in with shade Ripe, and I want to add this all over. And this is more of a camel brown. And honestly, if you own the Hoola bronzer from Benefit, I feel like this will give you the same sort of look. Or if you have MAC Give Me Sun bronzer, it's very similar to this eyeshadow. And I love products where you can have multi-use when doing your makeup. I'm trying my best to stay really hydrated. I'm drinking tons of water to hopefully kind of flush whatever sickness I still have left in me. Okay, so that is in shade Ripe. And now I want to go in with a more fluffier brush that's more defined. And I'm going to go in with shade Pep. And I'm just going to kind of stamp the outside of my eye, just like that. You don't need a lot of product because this product is dark. But I want to create a smoky eye effect and kind of put this into the crease area without looking too sloppy. I just kind of want to fade it into the crease. And I'm sorry if I sound super nasally because I do feel like I'm really struggling to kind of breathe throughout my nose. Also gonna put some pep on the lower lash line with the same brush. And I do want to kind of smoke this out a little bit more so that it's not so like clumpy in one spot. I'm gonna go back in with my Q-tip and I am going to remove some of that on the outer edge to kind of make it look more even. And then I'm gonna take a flat brush and trying to see what color I want to do today. I also have another Natasha Denona palette that I also want to use. This is the Retro Glam palette. And I'm trying to see in this palette if there's a shade that I do want to use. I'm trying to see the colors that I'm wearing as well to try to make that. I want to use shade Oscar. I'm going to add this to the lid. It's like a charcoal gray. I'm adding this in as a metallic shade to the lid. You don't need a lot. But I love this shade so much. And then I'm gonna use the other side and I'm gonna go into Flutter. And I'm gonna put this into the inner corner of my eye to brighten up right there. And for the lashes, I'm gonna use this Essence Volume Booster Lash Primer. I do feel like sometimes this can really enhance the length and volume of my lashes before I put on the mascara. And the first time I ever used this, I could see such a huge difference in my lashes. So I love using the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift, and then I also love using Benefit's Bad Gal Bang. Sometimes I mix them to build the lash that I want. And I kind of just go in. With the lashes. And then I will also use this on the top lash. I do wear false lashes, just FYI, so I don't feel like I have to do so much to the top lashes. I'm really kind of thinking I should do a different lip combo today, but I am a creature of habit and I love my current lip combo. I think it's really pretty for fall. I have one of the best nudes. I have been on a hunt for like the best nudes for lip gloss, lipstick, and I've tried so many, and I love the three that I basically use over and over again. I'm gonna give my lashes a minute to kind of dry down, and in the meantime, I figured we would do my lip combo, and I ran out of makeup wipes, so okay, so for my lip combo, I'm going to use Whirl from MAC. I love, hey Daisha, I love this lip liner. I feel like this lip liner is like a mauve. I actually need to sharpen my lip pencil, but I really love using a lip liner. I do overline my lips. Aw, thank you. Do you mind sharing my live? I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so this is the lip liner in Whirl from MAC. And then one of my favorite lipsticks is the Makeup by Mario lipstick in Midtown. This is one of the darker nudes that I have. It's really pretty on. Since getting this, I have honestly bought 4 of these already. That's how good they are. And then I'm gonna use the Dibs Italian Soda lip gloss. It's so pretty. And I'm just gonna put it right in the center. And it's very hydrating. You can even wear it by itself. It's this gorgeous pink color. And it has some glitter in it. So pretty. And now before I put my lashes on, I'm gonna go in with this Kimchi Puff Puff Pass Powder. If you follow me on TikTok, I do have it in my showcase if you're wanting to purchase it. And I also have it linked in the description through Amazon as well. This is the Kimchi Puff Puff Pass Powder in Lavender. And I feel like this powder just really brightens up your eyes, just making them look brighter. And I'm gonna go in with this Beauty Blender puff applicator. And look at the difference of just how bright this powder is compared to the other powders. And I know some of you are gonna be like, whoa, that's like way too bright for me. I don't want to be like more washed out. They do have other shades as well if you do not love this. This is like a hint of purple, and I feel like that just really complements my skin tone so much. I'm loving this powder. And I know I look a little washed out, but I'm telling you, it all comes together at the end. And I kind of just let this, sometimes I'll let it bake, and then sometimes, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna leave it there and set it. And then I'll take the fluffy brush that I have from Dibs, from where I use the bronzer, and I'll just blend that in so that there's no like harsh lines. And I always wear lashes, and it's so crazy to me when I am not wearing lashes. I'm like, jump scare, who is that? Who is she? And I just wish that I was blessed with beautiful long lashes, but I wasn't. And so I just use what I can, but I'm gonna go in with the Cookie highlighter. This is the best highlighter I've ever used. I've used all of them way back from when Jaclyn Hill actually had her line of highlighters with Becca. I'm gonna use this fluffy brush and go down the bridge of my nose. Love a good highlighter. I love a highlighter that doesn't interact with your makeup. I've had a highlighter before, couldn't tell you which one it was, but when I put it on, it separated my makeup, and I was like, what is going on? And it honestly was like getting worse and worse the more I tried to fix it. And so ever since using this highlighter, I'm like, okay, Benefit really knows their stuff, because I've repurchased this so many times. I love, just look at that highlighter. Isn't it gorgeous? So pretty, but it's not too much, which I love that. And I am going to go ahead and do my eyelashes on camera. Yesterday I applied them, but I felt like they were like too long, especially this one that I had on. And we're gonna try to use the Duo Strip Lash Glue. I don't know how this is gonna work because it's not my favorite. I'll be honest with you guys, I've used the Duo Glue, this exact one, all throughout high school, and just like when I did want lashes, or even after high school really is when I started really getting into makeup. So freaking good, so good, totally worth it. You can get it at Sephora, you can get it at the drugstore, Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, doesn't matter. But I grabbed this eyelash glue, can't talk today, trying to see if it would work. So I hate cutting my lashes, but we're gonna cut both sides of the lashes since I'm doing one. So there's little rivets in the lash if you look at them, and I'm gonna cut them at the first little rivet that I see. So this is how you do it. When you are cutting your lashes, you have to look at the lash. One side of the lash will be shorter all the way to like a long voluminous. And so I like to cut from the inner corner, and we're not cutting a ton. We're literally cutting like not even an inch, like barely an inch off of the lash. And then I'm also gonna do the same thing to the other side. And again, you can see where it separates. and you're taking off like literally one little wispy part of the lash, so you're not like going to town with scissors and like ruining your lash. But I do have both of my lashes, and I am going to try to use the Duo Glue. This is the orange one. It says a brush on adhesive with vitamins, dark. So this is black. And one of the things that I noticed with this, which I always end up using anyways, is a fan to kind of dry down my lash before putting wet glue like directly on my eyes, and like it getting messy and smearing and all of that. And so I love lashes, I'll just be honest, and I do wear them all the time, but I wish that my lashes were a little bit longer so that I didn't have to wear lashes. So I take my fan and I just dry my lashes down. And again, the smaller portion of the lash is where you put the inner corner, and then the more voluminous wispiness of your lash, you put it towards the outer corner. So you just blow, like you just dry your lash off anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. You can use tweezers, or if you have a lash applicator, I love using a lash applicator. And so taking my lash applicator, holding my lash like this, and I'm just evaluating my lash compared to my other lash to see what's the inner and outer corner of my lash. And then I like to pull my eye, not to where I am ruining my makeup, but I like to make sure that my lash is stable, and it's not. So I may have to get closer. This is my lash, and I'm wanting to make sure that my lashes connect. For whatever reason, my lash is not wanting to stay. This is such a gorgeous lash, you guys. So pretty. And when I first put the glue on them, I try not to mess with them too much because I know that they won't stay. And this is why I always just use my favorite glue, which I'm like, I could probably get one more on both sets, and I should have just chose to do that today. But, and I'm still gonna have to go in and fix that. I struggle with the strip lash glue. If you use strip lash glue and you love strip lash glue, like, more power to use this. But I get really frustrated with the glue because I have once or twice, I have had situations where I've been out and I have not brought the glue, or I don't have time to like spend, you know, 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes in the bathroom, like fixing my lash. I'm one of those people who just, when you put your lashes on, you just want to like go and do your errands or go on your date or whatever it is that you got dressed up for, and you don't want to spend any more time getting ready or having to like correct something. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys this lash. I know it's like hanging on for dear life right now, but I'm gonna have to take it off and like redo it with the glue. Or I may just have to put it on with tweezers. maybe they'll stay a little bit better with the tweezers. So I am applying the lash right on top of my natural lashes. So that went on a whole lot better than this lash. And I feel like the glue just dried up because it looks like I've never even put any glue on this lash, which is insane. And it's took me a lot of tears and a lot of trial and error to figure lashes out. And I feel like the more that I do it, I mean, the easier that it does get for me. But when I first started wearing lashes, I was a mess. And I was like, these don't work. And I would just get so frustrated all the time when doing my lashes. I definitely have to charge my fan because... And I'll go ahead and tell you that you want to saturate the band completely with the glue, but also you have to be careful because this can ruin, like, by playing with my lash too much on my eye, it can definitely move the lash. And I'm just going back in with glue just to make sure that this time it'll stay. Just fanning my lash. And now I really try to get close to the camera to show you guys. I pulled my eye out just a little bit. I want to place that lash right on top of my natural lashes. And putting mascara on, I get asked so many times, like, why do you put mascara on your top lashes if you're just going to wear lashes? Aren't you wasting your mascara? And the answer to that is no. For me personally, I just feel like my lashes don't stay on. Even with the good glue, if I don't have something kind of tacky for my lashes to kind of stick to, that's just the case for me. Now, you can try it out and see for yourself, like, what works for you. And that may not be the case for you. You may be able to just plop them on there and it works for you. But I'm going to go in with the NYX Epic Ink stick liner. And I use this on my waterline. This is in shade Brown Shimmer. And this is very well loved. I love using these for my waterline and the lower lash line. I love using browns. I used to only use a black liner, and I went through a phase of just like using a black waterliner, and then I went through a phase of like the teal blue, and so I still have that, but it ended up like, and it's by the same brand as well, the NYX, or this is not NYX. Okay, so this is NYX, I can confirm, but this other one is LA Shock, or LA Girl, Shockwave. So these are actually two separate brands, which I've had these for so long and I didn't even realize that this was a completely different brand. But these are, sometimes I'll use teal underneath and it really makes your eyes pop. But this is NYX, and then this is LA Girl. And I got you can get these from the drugstore or you can get it from Ulta. They're super affordable, so if you are someone who wants to try something different and cool, it definitely make your eyes pop. But I do want to add a little bit more blush to my look. I love blush, so when most people look at my face, that's probably the first thing they notice is like, God, she's got a lot of blush on. And kind of swap the sides. I usually use this for blush, but I'm trying to be more defined. You guys, I could literally use this whole blush for my face. It's so freaking pretty. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I do use a liquid eyeliner for the top. And this is also from NYX. I always use black. No matter what kind of look I do, I always use black. And I like to close my eye. And I create a really small wing, nothing crazy. And do the same thing to the other eye. I feel like cutting my lash like really enhanced my look because even the inner corners of my eye, every single time they always lift, and I'm like, what in the world? But I didn't know you can just cut them. Just one little rivet, like I said. And this is the lash. Hopefully I can hold it up with these tweezers to show you how much that I actually took off from my lash. This much. Just a tiny bit that would have been in the inner corner. And sometimes with certain lashes, they can really poke you. And they, you know, sometimes if your eyes get watery right here in the tear duct, then once your lashes get wet with any kind of water, it's over. Like, they don't stay and it ruins your lashes. And Lord only knows how many lashes that I have ruined by doing that. And now lastly, I'm going to use the Morphe setting spray. I love this. I believe it's 17 bucks. But I'm going to go ahead and spray my face. Kind of let that dry. This does not ruin your makeup. This is a setting powder. It stays all day. I don't believe that you need like the most expensive spray. That's crazy. I've used one size, love it. I've used Charlotte Tilbury, love it. But I always come back to the Morphe one because it has an even like mist, as if you're going through, like, you see the big fans in the summertime that like mist out water. It's kind of like that, where it's an even spray, doesn't separate or ruin your makeup, and lasts all day. But that is really it. Every once in a while, I'll go back in with a Bad Gal Bang if I really want something dramatic under my eye to make my lashes. I love long bottom lashes. I think it's really, really pretty. That is the final makeup look. Whew, my hair can get very crazy these days. But anyways, that is pretty much it. If you have a question about anything that I've used, I've pretty much linked everything for you to shop. But if there is something that I so happen to miss, please comment below, even if it's after this live, or shoot me a message, because I would love to tell you exactly what it is. If you are wanting to purchase anything, or just, you know, save it for later for when you are looking for something. But I do want to use the Hourglass. I love to be bronze. This is the Ambient 3 palette, and I'm just really addicted to a bronzy forehead look. And yes, I already did use the Dibs bronzer, but just on the forehead, I love to be a little bit more bronzy. Alrighty, guys. I hope everyone has a great Thursday, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.